Now, we talked about England, we talked about Croatia, we talked about Belgium. The one team we haven't really talked about yet is France, who had, much like England, had a surprisingly comfortable win. I thought France's win over Uruguay was oddly comfortable. They just seem to be better than Uruguay in all parts of the field. Granted, Uruguay were missing Cavani, but still, I wonder how much impact he would have had, because they were so comfortable throughout, it seemed like to me, that you wonder now. We've just talked about how great Belgium are, but actually could be France's World Cup to lose. France now 2-1 favourites to win the World Cup, but with most bookmakers. England are second favourites, by the way. But it's looking pretty good for France at the moment. What can stop them, if anything, Tom?
I think Uruguay actually started off really brightly against France on Friday.
Briefly, though.
Briefly. I mean, if they had the likes of Cavani playing, I think they could have possibly converted one of those chances. I think they obviously weren't helped by their keeper having a huge clanger, which brought down probably the morale of the team and that sort of thing. But France did look very comfortable throughout the most of the match. I just think that Uruguay, although they probably have Godin and Suarez, who are world class, the rest of the team's pretty average, to be honest. And France is just completely too much.
Dan, what do you think? What allowed France? Because I said going in, and I was very, very wrong, that I thought that France-Uruguay might be one of the games of the tournament. Yeah. I fell asleep on the couch watching the first half. It really wasn't that special. And then obviously that second goal, as you say, kind of put the game to bed. What happened? Why were France so good?
The first thing I would say is lucky you. I was on my way back from a meeting out near Reading, and so I was having to listen to it on Radio 5 Live with Chris Sutton on co-commentary,
lovely.
Who is a dour man. Honestly, I would struggle. I think he could make the happiest of people want to slit their own wrists. He is
wow, Dan.
Bad.
Wow.
He is an awful man. Anyway,
he's a terrible human.
He is a terrible human. That's true. I actually said going in that I thought Uruguay would be able to cause France some problems. I thought they weren't going to give them any space, the same amount of space that Argentina did, and yet France were able to just roll them over. From the sounds of things, when Chris Sutton wasn't being a dick, when the commentator was actually allowed to speak, it sounded like France were all over them, very, very comfortable, keeping them at arm's length. I don't think it can be understated how big the Cavani's absence is, though. I mean, he defends from the front. He basically does the running of 1.5 men. He's as important to Uruguay as, say, someone like Kante is to Chelsea and France.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at France, and we ask them whether this is their World Cup now to lose, they're going to play Belgium. They are then, hopefully going to play England in the final if they were to get through Belgium, but possibly Croatia. Which of those other three teams has the best chance of stopping France's march to the trophy now?
Belgium.
You think Belgium?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why Belgium? What about Belgium allows them to expose the weaknesses that France have more than anyone else?
Oh, well, just the players they've got. I mean, the players and as you've alluded to earlier, the players and the teamwork that they're playing with, I think allow them to beat anyone. They comfortably put Brazil to the sword, and I think they could do the same to France on their day. I don't know about tactically how they would do that. I mean, other than breaking on the counter again, allowing France to have the ball.
I think it could come down to keepers. In fact, I mean, Courtois is having an absolute blinder this tournament. Lloris is also doing quite well, but I, for some reason, I never feel that safe with Lloris.
Well, Courtois had a much better season than Lloris, obviously.
Wow.
I mean, I'll say that as a Tottenham fan, you still say that. I mean, Lloris has had an unusually weak season. Yeah. Courtois hasn't been brilliant, but he's been solid. You'd rather, if you had to pick which of them was going to be your national team keeper, you'd obviously pick Courtois.
And also he's the tallest, which obviously makes him the better goalkeeper.
Although actually, did you see he mentioned that was taken the wrong way? He didn't mean it as an insult.
Well, I agree with Dan earlier on about talking about how teams have been a lot more important than the individual, but I think this game could come down to a moment of individual brilliance, such as like De Bruyne. I mean, his finish the other day was orgasmic, shall we call it that?
Wow, there's an adjective. Who would you rather face then, France or Brazil, if you're England and you go to the final?
Brazil aren't in it anymore.
Belgium.
I'd rather play France.
It's been a very, very long 24 hours. France or Belgium?
France.
You'd rather play France?
I'd rather play France. I'd rather it be a battle of the Channel.
And do you think it will be France? Do you think Belgium will go?
No, I think it'll be Belgium. I think it will be a repeat of the group game, but with first-team players this time.
I would completely agree with that. I would rather France and fear it's going to be Belgium.
It's a clean sweep. We're all saying Belgium. If it was France, do you think we'd win?
Possibly.
I'm going to win either way.
All right, we're going to
Don't
win either
worry.
way.
Don't curse the ball.
If you haven't heard, it's coming home. I seem to be finishing every segment with that today. Why not?
Well, it's better
everyone's
than,
doing it.
It's better than
Vindaloo.
Vindaloo. And Vindaloo.
Yeah.
Cue the music.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. France or Belgium? Is it France's World Cup to lose? Do you think Belgium can stop them? And either way, can England beat either of those two sides if they were to face them in the final on Sunday? Let us know what you think.